What's up, everybody? It's Rob from Say Sour Games, and we are back with another episode of my favorite series, the Pathfinder 2E Foundry Intro to GM Prep. And this is, of course, the Beginner Box series where I was talking a bit about the Beginner Box and my experiences GMing and playing it for my new group of players who have never played Pathfinder. Some of them haven't even played a tabletop before. So this is definitely an interesting experience. So last time we left our players off, they were just about finishing the first floor of this 2-floor dungeon for the Beginner Box. The battle rested up pretty quickly, and then after that they essentially were able to go back to the town up above to rest and recover. This gave them a chance to recover. They bought healer's tools, they bought a few potions, they got a few potions from the quest giver, if you will, for this Beginner Box to help them out. I decided to give them to them. It does say in the book, if your players are struggling, don't be afraid to toss them 1 or 2 healing potions for their help. It's definitely going to come in handy, and they were struggling. Almost every fight, at least the fighter or someone goes down at some point. Now going down into this next level, if you will, the fights are getting a bit more trickier. For instance, the first fight right off the bat is against more kobolds, but this time the kobolds are actually hidden and kind of preparing themselves, and as a result of that, one of the kobolds actually hides and isn't revealed when combat starts, allowing them to get flanking and sneak attack damage because they are considered hidden. Unfortunately, this battle didn't last that long. Between the fighter getting some good hits and some good spell casting, they weren't that much of a struggle. Eventually the group, there's a few ways to go here, and then the group chose to go this one route because it kind of was behind this barricade. They wanted to see what was behind there. And eventually they came across this room with some mystical orbs in it. And one of the orbs broke open, and there was this creature came out of it, a rat full of flames. And anybody who's played D&D or played Pathfinder, you probably know what this creature is. My players did not know what it was. They never actually made knowledge checks for it. So I'm definitely gonna have to remind them about that. But it is a cinder rat. And this was a battle. Lord, was this a battle. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because a cinder rat on its own shouldn't be that tough of a fight, really. But this fight, as I mentioned in episodes, they kind of are progressively showing you different things every fight. And this is the first fight for the Beginner Box that shows elemental damage. It shows persistent damage, setting things on fire, making you burn yourself on fire. Now, thankfully, a quarter of the room is kind of filled with water, so you can kind of dip into the water there. But this cinder rat hits like a truck, to be honest. 11-1. I think a CR3 creature, I believe. And it hurt. I think I knocked out at least 2 people in this fight with the cinder rat. So it was definitely like they had to drag bodies back to the water because it was a tough fight. Eventually, thankfully, the witch got some good casting with electric arc in it, some rare frost potentially every now and then, and a few good crossbow bolts. But this battle lasted most of the actual session, and I was, again, similar to the undead fight, I was a bit cautious about this fight because it hurt. Even the persistent damage wasn't even the issue. It was just the rolls were just really good on my side, and they just couldn't hit this rat. And I think part of the issue for this is the group has to work on their flanking. They have to work on their tactics. I've talked about this numerous times. They're slowly getting better. They've just started to learn electric arc being a spell that's useful. Rare frost, unfortunately bad rules for that one. But they are also not flanking as much as they should. They have a dragon eidolon, and the dragon should essentially come in and flank. The summoner is getting hit too much in the face, as opposed to letting the eidolon get hit. Summoner is in a bad position a lot of times in the fights, to where a creature's too close, it's going to just beeline towards the nearest target. The summoner needs to stay back, let the eidolon do a lot of the work. It has a better AC and designed to tank. They share the same hit points, yes, but it's better for him to be out in the front versus the summoner itself. So with the dragon god, I hope that he can start to flank more with the fighter. That should help both of them hit a lot better. The other main issue really for this group is the investigator is a bit struggling to do stuff, I'll be honest. And this is mostly because of the stat build, as well as the, unfortunately, the dice roll. The dice rolls have been bit rough. RNG has not been good for them. Eventually, they have high intelligence, they have high wisdom, all those stats, but their strength and the dex are at a 10. So because of this, they don't actually get any modifiers to their attack roll besides their proficiency bonus. On top of that, if they devise a stratagem, they get the +4 from the intelligence, which helps. But that's only one roll, and if they've had quite a few devised stratagem rolls that have been really low, and it's made them stumble. That combined with using a crossbow puts them in a position where they spend an action devising, another action shooting, third action reloading, and that's their turn from one attack, which they maybe not hit. So that's a dangerous, rough thing for them. At this point, the Cinder Rat battle was a tough one, and they eventually were able to defeat the Cinder Rats. Cinder Rat, just one, not two. God forbid, if there was two, it would have been a TPK. Once the rat was dead, they were left in this room with 2 mystical orbs, and it's always great as a GM when you have a room of magical stuff, watching your players try and figure out what it is and what it does. It's such a great feeling because they'll look at some things and think this is magical when it's not, and then something that is magical but isn't that dangerous, they will treat like it's radioactive. They'll be like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to look at it. I don't even want to. They're like it's dangerous. It's scary. Now, this is also where we learned a very interesting thing. Neither of our spellcasters have detect magic. I almost want to retcon this and allow them to learn detect magic. They should learn detect magic. Somebody needs detect magic. I think they actually have a magical weapon in their possession. They don't even know about it. They just don't know it exists. And luckily, this gets remedied a bit in the later episodes. I'll talk about that in my next episode. But the idea that they forgot about it is a tough one. I'll probably give them a choice to take a spell back, or at least learn it. I think at least the witch has a spell book through the familiar, so that helps. But otherwise, without it, they can't determine magical properties of stuff. And yes, they can try and figure out some things, but without knowing what they should be looking at, it makes it hard. The only thing they have saving grace is as an investigator, they do have That's Odd, which lets them kind of peek at something in the room, saying a GM tip, if you will, saying, oh, this is interesting, or this doesn't belong here. Maybe this deserves further investigating, which helps a bit. But otherwise, yeah, they need detect magic, definitely. Now, after this battle, they have officially 4 fights left to end the beginner box. And I'll tell you, the last 2 fights are pretty intense. They're going to need to do some serious work on these last 2 fights. We'll see what happens next episode and how far they get leading up to those 2 big fights to end the beginner box. So for this video, let's talk about detect magic. Do you guys think that detect magic is an auto pick at level 1 cantrip? Should every mage have detect magic as a cantrip? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, while you're down there, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more Pathfinder content, more Foundry content, and of course, just more content from me in general to help the channel on my way to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for the support, and I hope to see you guys next time for another Foundry Beginner's Box video. Thank you guys.